Today marks Indigenous Peoples Day here in the U.S., celebrating the contributions of Indigenous people and recognizing the commitment to tribal nations. 1 year ago, President Biden called upon the people of the U.S. to observe this day with ceremonies and activities to mark the occasion. Susan Faircloth of the Coharie tribe and professor and director at the School of Education at Colorado State joins me now for more on this. Professor, thanks so much for being here. Many Americans know today is Columbus Day. So why is it important to recognize Indigenous people on this day? And can you celebrate both?
Thank you. Great questions. Before I answer that question, I would just like to take a moment to acknowledge that I'm joining this interview from Florida in the St. Pete's area. And I'd like to take a moment to honor the tribes that are indigenous to this area, particularly the Miccosukee and the Seminole nations and tribes. So to answer your question, Indigenous Peoples Day is critically important because it offers an opportunity for us to rethink, particularly as educators, to rethink how we teach what some have characterized as a sanitized version of the arrival of Columbus in the Americas and the impact that his arrival had on Indigenous peoples. The question around whether or not we can celebrate or should celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day and Columbus Day is a quite complicated question. As an Indigenous person, I would argue that the current federal holiday remains Columbus Day. However, as an Indigenous person, it's difficult to honor and celebrate a day that was established in honor of someone whose arrival led to the taking of land, life, liberty, culture, and land from Indigenous peoples.
So what are some of the ways that we can celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day?
There are a variety of different ways. At my own home institution, there are celebrations on our main lawns of the campus where Native faculty, staff, and students are coming out to talk about Indigenous peoples, issues, cultures, lands, languages. We have someone from the Native American Rights Fund who's coming in to talk about the Indian Child Welfare Act. There's opportunities to have teach-ins in schools where we're bringing in literature and speakers and members of tribes. Other communities are having parades, celebrations. So a variety of different ways in which we can honor Indigenous Peoples Day.
And some critics have said that a day of observance isn't enough. What are some of the unique challenges that Indigenous people still face today in this country, and how would you like to see them corrected?
I would agree that one day is not enough. And what typically happens, and we especially find this in schools across the nation, is that American Indian, Native American peoples tend to come to our thinking and to our minds on two occasions during the year, one being Indigenous Peoples Day, which is a more recent observation or celebration, and the other is during the month of November when we traditionally celebrate Thanksgiving. I would argue that one day is certainly not enough when we think about the wide variety and diversity of American Indian, Native American peoples across the nation, with there being more than 600 different state and federally recognized tribes. And so we should think about ways in which we can incorporate Native and Indigenous histories and teachings throughout the year and not limit it to one day. So there can be teachings, there can be readings, and other observations.
Nice.
In terms of some of the issues that we face, we continue to face some of the highest rates of suicide, highest rates of students dropping out or being pushed out of school, highest rates of obesity. So a multitude of different issues that we continue to face.
All right, Susan Faircloth, we appreciate your time today, and a happy Indigenous Peoples Day to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.